Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, Accelerate Your Unreal Development in Only 3 Clicks. Thank you for taking time out and being here today. I'm Israel Rogoza, the Cloud Product Manager at IncrediBuild. I have spent almost a decade in various R&D positions, with a focus on best practice for accelerating software developing. Today, we'll be looking at the following: how to use Azure infrastructure for your game developing, reduce your waiting time and make your time more efficient, and effective ways to improve your development and CI pipeline to nail crunch times. Also with me today, Victor Gershgorn, Innovation Research at IncrediBuild. Not so long ago, I had a call with a high-level manager in one of the leading gaming companies. He mentions that due to technical issues, it looks like they are going to miss the deadline to launch the new game. It's a huge problem since marketing already started to promote the new game, while sales are looking forward to seeing the revenue. He also mentioned that in the new game, they add new capabilities, and this had a crucial effect on their workloads and testing time. In today's fast-paced market, time isn't just money, it's a key to growth. Any gaming company is on a never-ending race to release to the market faster while handling time-consuming development tasks like rebuilding the Unreal Engine, shader compilation, and more. Failing to improve the productivity of the developer and the DevOps engineer might result in rushing out half-baked products, missing deadlines, or worse, from frustrated employees. Game development is changing. You need to deliver more in less time with no matter to your capacity. Game development now need more acceleration. We can see ever-growing code base, graphics complexity, many target platforms, and of course the introduction of streaming. This requires powerful CI/CD and DevOps practices. Bottom line, developers will need scalable yet optimized ways to build games. In this demo, we will be discussing how Azure allowed IncrediBuild with creating a demo of its Grid Solution product, which allows developers to streamline their development process, cutting down on build times, reducing context switching requirements, increasing test iterations, and bringing better products to the market.
The demo connects the dots between multiple Microsoft offerings, Unreal Engine, and Azure, and shows how combining those with incredible cloud ability to seamlessly scale heavy game development pipelines to hundreds of compute cores in Azure on demand reduces build time, increases productivity and quality while providing measurable ROI. The demo starts from a developer making code change or a change in an Unreal Engine shader project which is connected to GitHub. The code change triggers an Azure DevOps pipeline to run. As game builds consist of hundreds of compilation tasks that can run in parallel, IncrediBuild will seamlessly scale the 16-course Azure DevOps node to additional 160 Azure cores on demand. By distributing the build to additional 160 Azure cores, the game build will complete in 8 minutes instead of 48 minutes, 6 times faster. The Azure cores are dynamically provisioned according to demand, and once the build is over, are deprovisioned, optimizing ROI and performance. And now, Victor, to you.
So let's talk about the scenario that we're trying to address with IncrediBuild Cloud. And the scenario is rather easy when you have a large C++ or other build in your pipeline. It could be a gaming related build, it could be any sort of generic build. We specifically are going to look at Unreal 4 game as a sample, a pipeline with Unreal Engine 4, which is built through Azure DevOps using scaling up to Azure. So what we have here is a pipeline, several pipelines actually, that are quite similar to what you can find on your own CI pipelines, be if you're using Jenkins or if you're using Azure DevOps. So let's go into editing the pipeline, and quickly going over the steps that we have here. We start an Azure agent. This is a pre-configured agent. We decided to do it this way because the Unreal code base is rather big, and checking it out every time would be kind of beat the purpose, checking out the entire code base. We have something that makes sure that IncrediBuild Cloud is running, and we have a build of the strategy game. At the end of the pipeline, we usually shut down the agent, but for the purpose of the demonstration, this is going to be disabled. So let's start this pipeline. And we can see that that the build is running. We are making sure that our Azure agent is running, that the pre-configured Azure DevOps agent is running, and that IncrediBuild is executing the build. Let's talk about the agent a little bit. The agent that we want to take a look at is defined inside of our Azure account. This could be any machine that's connected to your CI. It could be a machine on premises, it could be a machine on Azure, it could be a machine in a different location to your location. All of these would be able to utilize the scaling capabilities of the IncrediBuild Cloud without the need for any extra configuration. So what IncrediBuild did in the background, since we run the agent, is it created additional machines. So all of these machines were created to assist this single machine to finish the build faster using our grid technology. And we can actually go and connect through an RDP to this build agent and see what's going on inside there. Okay, so what we can see here is the IncrediBuild, your normal IncrediBuild coordinator. The coordinator was installed on this agent, and we have just one machine inside of the network, the IncrediBuild network. IncrediBuild, because the build is quite large and it's demanding a lot of helper cores, based on the amount of cores that were requested, IncrediBuild created additional machines inside of the Azure account that are assisting in performing this build. Okay. The configuration of how many machines can theoretically be created is of course something that's configurable at the sign up page. And what we can see here is that the build is already running. We have 6 local cores and a multitude of remote machines that are helping finish build quite faster. One thing that's important to stress is that none of these machines require any sort of configuration. You basically use your build agent, and all the grid is created in the background. You don't need to install anything. You don't need to synchronize code. You don't need to do anything. This is very transparent to your IT department. Okay, so we'll let this build run in the background. You can see that we're already at 27% of the build, and we will let the build run a little bit and hop on towards the end of it. Okay. So we can see that the build is progressing, and what we have here is a build utilizing 166 cores. This includes the cores of the local machine, which are mainly purposed for tasks that must run locally. All the other cores are dedicated for assisting the compilation time. Okay, so let's talk about, we won't wait for the entire pipeline to finish, although in general it should be done in a matter of a couple of minutes. So we can see that the strategy game is running for about 6 minutes now. We ran a comparison of the pipeline with and without IncrediBuild, and you can see the comparison here. So the pipeline we ran the comparison on had 3 workloads. So the Unreal Engine, Unreal shader distribution, and building a strategy game, which is a sample inside of Unreal Engine. You can see that the workloads are taking more or less about an hour to finish normally without IncrediBuild, and they're substantially accelerated. So 1 hour and 6 minutes becomes 12 minutes, 47 minutes becomes 9 minutes. You have some graphs, so to give you an idea of how much faster you can achieve your goals. So thinking about what you could do with that time, it can be utilized to have more iteration, to get the game ready in time, to have more QA done and improve the quality of your game. And it's important, again, it's very important to stress that all of this is happening with practically zero configuration on your side. Everything you need to achieve this is you need to install IncrediBuild on your build engine agent, and you need to fill a simple online form that configures and ties IncrediBuild into your Azure account. Obviously, you will have to have a user with access to creating and destroying Azure machines. So we can see that the game has finished, and it took us, well, under 6 minutes in order to compile the entire game, which utilizes most of Unreal Engine 4. Thanks for your time, and see you.